This is my first garden preservation of 2025. Come make some pickled carrots with me. First things first, let's start with the obvious and wash and scrub those dirty carrots. Got all these greens, a couple little carrots down in there. I'm gonna give all these greens to the horses. They're gonna go absolutely nuts over that. This is a large salad bowl and it's pretty much almost all the way full, but this is definitely not the route to go. Note to self, I need to try to pull out the larger carrots when I'm thinning because the cleanup is tedious. Okay, with Mama hides. Over the green chunk. Rum chum chum. Carrot in here. Whoops. Hey, Hannah. Girls love that. Okay. Grab your mason jars, clean or dirty. I keep mine in these clear totes, and load as many as you think necessary into the dishwasher. I always have way more than needed, but it's better to have too many than not enough. For the brine, we need 6 cups of vinegar. Maybe this whole jug. Side note, this brine recipe ended up making 7 pints plus a little bit left over of the brine for the pickled carrots. And then just double checking. 2 cups of water. Then we need half a cup of pickling salt. You don't have to use this, but just don't use the iodinized salt, you know, the one with the little girl. Don't use that one when you're canning. Okay, and half a cup of that. Then we're gonna bring it to a boil so that the salt dissolves, and then I'm gonna let it completely cool. This is kind of my method with pickling. I like to put cool brine, cool jars, cool product, whatever it is, cucumbers, carrots, beans, whatever. And then you put all that into the canner in cool room temperature water. You bring it all up to a boil together. I like doing that as opposed to putting hot boiling liquid into hot jars. It's just, I don't know, in my mind, I feel like it makes them get less mushy, or it's less heat to them overall. Turn this on and let this get to boiling. Okay, that took like 5 minutes. Everything's all dissolved. One last little stir. Okay, I'm gonna turn the heat off. Oops, that's all the way high. I'm gonna turn the heat off and cover it while it cools. Okay, I had some garlic. These are halved. Oops, and I do need a half in each jar. If they were smaller cloves, I would put just a whole, but since they're good sized, I am going for the half, which is what the recipe calls for. And then we're gonna do a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes in the bottom. Oh, look at my lovely wild hair as usual. And then we're gonna go in with like in between an 1/8 and a 1/4 of pickled crisp. Not quite the full 1/4. The recipe doesn't call for it, but we're gonna try it and see if it makes the carrots extra crispy. I wanted to say pickle, but it wasn't a pickle.
Pickled carrot.
Okay, I think that's all for now. Oh, and the dill. So it says we put a head of dill in the bottom, and then we pack the carrots in there, and then we put a head of it on the top too. So they're very dilly pickled carrots. So that's what we'll do. From the store, Ivy went and got it for me. Unfortunately, I did not get my dill grown in the garden. These heads of dill are huge, so I'm wondering if I should probably break these up. How big? Okay, now I'm going to pack the carrots in there. Some of these carrots were itty bitty, so I tried to keep similar sizes with similar sizes, and the ones that I chopped, I kept to about a couple inches apiece. This recipe calls for dill in the bottom of the jar and then on top of the carrots once you have put them in the jar. So we're just putting one more layer of dill on top, and then we will top off the jars with the cool liquid brine to 1/2 of an inch of headspace from the top rim of the mason jar. After your liquid is in the jars, you're going to want to de-bubble your jars. So I usually use a chopstick, or tapping the jars on the counter works too. Another important step while canning any product is to check your rims for any chips or breaks in the glass and wipe them clean with vinegar. These couple steps help ensure a nice seal for the lids to the jars in the canning process. We're almost to the main event. Screw on the rings to what we call fingertip tight. It's a fine line between snug enough but not too tight, because air does need to escape during the canning process. It's finally canning time. Arrange your jars so that they are securely upright. You don't want them tipped on their sides during the canning process. Make sure your jars are covered by 1 inch or 2 of water and a splash of vinegar to reduce water spots on the outside of your jars. This particular water bath canner comes with this handy grate that holds your jars securely in place. Pop your cover on and bring your canner to a rapid, consistent boil. Once you've reached a consistent boil, set your timer for 10 minutes. Processing times can vary based off of your elevation, so you're going to want to do a little research. After your processing time is up, turn off the canner or the stovetop, remove the lid, and let it sit for a good 5 minutes before you pull the jars out. Once the boil has subsided, use your canning tongs to place your hot jars on a clean towel. I let my jars cool overnight before I remove the rings and check all the seals. These jars came out pretty clean due to that splash of vinegar, but I always do a quick clean to the lids before I label. Whether your garden is full of abundance, or you enjoy supporting local farmers at the farmers market, or if you can pick up fruits and veggies at the store, learning how to can and preserve your fresh produce is a life skill, and so worth the time and investment to have the security and enjoyment of delicious and healthy foods on the pantry shelves for possibly years to come.